I love math, the way the path goes on the graph, power functions. Cause great discussion in the math class. Shall put no textbook before the math class. Functions real right.
Hey guys, let's go over this quiz. Quiz 6. Oops, I don't have a date on there. Today is 2/9/2022. School board has decided to allocate their budget between two high schools in town to decide which school deserves a bigger portion of the budget. I'm going to call this high school A and high school B to decide which school deserves blah, 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 blah. The board went over the grades of the students from both schools over the past years. For each student, they calculated the difference between the scores on their high school entrance exams and exit exams. Okay, so they looked or went over. They're observing. I know they're calculating. Then they compared. So they're not really like doing anything to the students. They're not saying like, hey, these students in high school B get iPads. Over here, you guys get Chromebooks. And then they calculate the difference. The type of statistical study used for this board is, this one would be a observational. Okay, it's kind of weird, but B, down here, is a study appropriate for statistical questions. So remember, statistical questions, the big idea is that your data should vary. We got a bunch of responses here. And is it appropriate to use these types of questions? The types of questions are they getting here? So let's underline what they're getting. They went over grades. Does that give me data that varies? Yes. Then they calculated the scores on the entrance exam and high school exam. Does that data vary? Yes, it does. So I believe the answer is D. Okay, why is it not C? Yes, because the school board did not sample the students but analyze the grades. They did sample the students, so that's wrong. Okay, question number 2. What type of study is a researcher conducting? 35 people were randomly, going to underline that one, selected at a movie theater. They answer some questions regarding the types of movies they enjoy. 15 reported comedy, romance, drama, and horror. Okay, census means all. Did everyone, no, they only picked 35 of everyone in there. Did they do an experiment? Like I pass out candy to the front rows and the back row, I give them soda and popcorn? No. Observational study, are we just watching these people and then, no. So sample survey is the correct one, right? All right, question number 3. What type of study is a researcher conducting here? A university that houses 2,135 students wants to find out if the residents feel safe living in the community on campus. All students received an email asking them if they felt safe on campus. 1,844 students responded and 1,243 stated they felt safe while living on campus. Okay, now you could use this one here to calculate a proportion. A proportion of students that feel safe. Okay, but the idea is here, did they do in an experiment? Did they say, you know, half of you, you're passing out paper surveys as they come back in at nighttime, and maybe those who were just coming back or leaving in the morning for classes, you know, no, they didn't do that. Were they watching them for their demeanor, you know? No. Did they say they labeled all the students 2,135 with a number and they used a random number generator and then picked 10 random numbers? They did not. So the big idea here is that it was a census because they did what? All. Everyone received it. Question number 4. Researcher wants to determine if the behavior of children is affected by playing video games that have violent content. He asked the parents of 100 children in the daycare how often each child plays video games and whether the video games they play have violent content. The children are then allowed to play in a controlled environment, such as the daycare center's playground. Any violent behaviors are then noted. What type of study is the researcher conducting? Okay, so I don't see the word all, so I'm not going to say census. An experiment would be I pass out a video game system, and then half the students would be able to play it and the other half wouldn't be, and then observe or compare their violent behaviors on the playground. I don't see that. Sample survey says that this should be kind of random. And did they randomly pick the 100 parents? Doesn't say it, right? Could have said like, hey, whoever wants a discount on tuition or free Chick-fil-A or something like that, but they didn't do that. So this one's actually observational. Now, observational is passive, I want to note, but they aren't really doing anything. Yes, they are asking and they are collecting information, but they are not like doing something and then comparing. Question number 5. A new car company claims to produce cars with greater miles per gallon. A sample of 30, so I know it's random, which is good. Sample n equals 30 of these new cars results in an estimated population mean of, okay, our population mean here is 44. Draw yourself a picture. So this line here represents 44. And a margin of error is approximately 3 miles per gallon. So you could go plus 3 or minus 3. In some ways, it's different than the standard deviation, but the same idea of adding and subtracting. So I would get up to 47 and 41. Based on sample mean and the margin of error, which two of the following values would be the plausible miles per gallon? Let me write down here for you guys a formula you could use. As if the margin of error is equal to 2 times the standard deviation. So if we already know that the margin of error is 3, you can calculate that the standard deviation here is 1.5 divided by 2 on both sides. But I really don't need that because I could just see a spread. And what numbers lie between 41 and 47? No, no, yes, yes, no. So our answers are going to be C and D. Question number 6, identify which type of random sampling is used for the population. Okay, the first 50 people entering the zoo are asked if they support an increase in taxes to support a zoo expansion. So this is easy for me because then like I just want to show up and leave. So this is a convenience sampling. Convenience sampling. Number 7, identify which random sampling is used for the population. Every 15th. Okay, so we're creating some kind of systematic. Systematic is our answer. Number 8, which of the following statements are true? Select all that apply. Experiments can establish cause and effect. That is true. Because then we can compare our, giving vaccine A and vaccine B and compare who's getting COVID or not. Okay. Observational studies can create conditions by imposing treatments. This is wrong, because this is not observational. This definition here is an experiment. Okay, see, observational studies, unlike experiments, involve only existing conditions. That's true. Like, go back to that previous problem, and we're just looking at the playground. We're just looking at violent video games. Those are already there. They're existing. I don't have to create them. Experiments have to create them. And surveys do not involve randomization. They should. So A and C are correct answers. And number 9, identify whether the sample population is random or is it biased. Like, is it leaning towards one direction, or you can completely random. Surveying 15 people in line for a water slide on what their favorite ride is at the water park. So I don't know what Knott's Berry Farms one is. Let's say you're the advertiser for Knott's Berry Farm Water Park, and they want to gather data and make sure they're making a right decision. And so you're already like in line for that particular ride. Does that make sense? And of course, people in line for that particular ride like that ride, because if they don't like it, they would not stand in that. So this one is going to be a biased sample. I hope these were helpful for you guys. We'll see you later.
Yeah, I love doing mine. You love doing mine. We love doing mine. Let's all do mine. 'Cause we love doing mine.